With the 7th pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Angel Reese, LSU.
Hello and welcome to Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy. We're here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Corsi Boulevard, ready to bring you a whole lot of LSU sports talk. Of course, you've seen the intro. Angel Reese selected 7th overall to the Chicago Fire. If you didn't know, the WNBA draft was last night. A lot of eyes on college women's basketball this season, so we'll start the show off with this conversation, Bud Man, with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, the whole lot moving on to the WNBA. Is this finally the season that audiences start paying attention to the WNBA?
Good to see you, JP. Good to be back with everybody this week. A lot to recap. Unfortunately, most of it is not great, but we start off on a positive note. First of all, right out of the gate, you know, everybody knows that these women, and you can talk about Angel and Livy and Flaugier and Haley and everybody that has a brand out at LSU. They are styling, and Angel Reese, I thought, was one of the better dressed women. She goes to Chicago, will play with Cardoso. So Chicago picks Cardoso 3, Reese at 7. Indiana picks Caitlin Clark number 1. And why are we starting off? Because this is a new era with the WNBA, and the question is, JP, can they interject the enthusiasm, the atmosphere, the tickets, the want to go into that building and see,
right,
and the eyeballs on the games like they have done in the last couple of years in college? Also, on the flip side, how much of the college rating is going to go down now that Reese and Caitlin Clark has affected women's athletics and women's basketball in general like nobody else in the last 20, 30 years, JP. So I did not watch much of the draft after the 9th or 10th pick. Great to see all of the celebs in the house and all of the dresses. And so I thought it was an excellent production. But once again, if you ask me if I'm going to watch Indiana and Chicago and all these teams, I don't know the answer to that yet. Do you?
No, so I was going to preface this by saying between a player and a coach and working in this profession, I've seen probably tens of thousands of ball games across many sports. Honestly, I've never watched an entire WNBA game in my entire life, but I had to say, I am intrigued to watch Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese again in the pros. I am. It's interesting to me. There's going to be some hype around it. You're going to support the former Lady Tiger in the pros, so that game I might tune in to watch. Yeah. But honestly, I've never watched a WNBA game. When I was like looking through the highlights, come across my timeline for the draft last night, I was having trouble even like following the mascots of the different cities. A lot of these teams I had never heard of, honestly, but this might be the season to start tuning in some WNBA games.
Yeah, it could be the turning of the leaf and trying to get more eyeballs, and obviously the NBA has carried the WNBA, but we'll see if this injection of youth and brand and excitement. Look, we have said it. Caitlin Clark reminds me of Steph Curry. I've not seen a woman shoot from the outside with that kind of distance. They all dressed up last night. They all had their night. Now we will see if it carries over. On the flip side, locally here, Janae Kent, Haley Van Lith, and of course Velez, the point guard, have all got into the portal. LSU expected to bring in 3 or 4 highly touted. You know, they don't announce it one at a time. All of a sudden they'll throw 4 in your lap. So LSU rebuilding and should be very good. Excellent crop coming back. You and I have talked about it. Flaugier's team, but let's not sit on Anissa Morrow. She had a heck of a year once again, All-American, who came over and was able to play with Angel side by side, double-double almost every night.
Yep.
Obviously, Michaela Williams, you want to get her in a little bit of better shape.
Yep.
Because when she's in line and shooting the basketball from outside, it's a thing of beauty. Obviously, Last-Tier Poor and others, and we know that they will probably be preseason in the 5 and 10, and Matt McMahon trying to pick up some basketball players in the portal. He's picking up some guards, still needs some bigs. And, of course, the spring football portal is upon us. And so we'll get into the spring game in the second hour. And, oh, by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time, there is a tradition. And, first of all, I have had some eye issues, and so it's not, I guess that's not the main reason I'm hard to look at. There are a lot of reasons there. But I like the sunglasses. And so we started wearing sunglasses when it was a bad outcome. And if you've got a broom in your closet, don't pick it up, because the Tigers got swept again on the road, 3-12. I'm going to give you a couple tidbits about what I think is going on. And JP, it doesn't matter. You look at Mississippi State after they won it. You look at Ole Miss after they won it. You look at LSU after they won it. It is tough to follow up a natty with another great year. And right now, you're even wondering if they're going to get into postseason play or even into the SEC tournament because of that 3-12 record. But they did have a hellacious first 5 weeks in the SEC.
Yep, LSU had a very tough first 5 opponents in the SEC schedule. Of course, we'll talk about LSU baseball and a whole lot more. Time to take our first break here on Tigers Roar. You're watching it right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
If you're ready to score savings on your new vehicle, the play call is simple. Make your way to Team Honda. That's where you can see the new 24 Civic, named the #1 compact car on the road and the best compact car for the money. Score your new Honda savings at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Look up to the skies, I see
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Of course, wearing the shades to start the show because it's time to talk LSU baseball. Now sitting at 3-12 in the SEC. Got swept for the second time in an SEC series this season to Tennessee, who's a very talented team, ranked number 4. They'll probably get a little bump this week, but number 4 ranked, the Tony Vitalo's absolutely crushed the ball. Have a short porch in both corners, but they used to their advantage. They worked the long ball. LSU struggling on all fronts. The bullpen's been a problem all season, but now the bats have gone quiet. Only 3 players really with over 100 at-bats batting in the 300s. Tommy White leading that race. He's done an outstanding job at third base, Budman, but I just want to say before we start this conversation, you know about all the talent you lost off last year's team, but the leadership, I think, is really what's hurting LSU a lot because on paper, this team is very talented. I mean, preseason number 2, Budman, but, I mean, the first 5 SEC series have all been losses, and it's been a struggle.
Yeah, I've said this on numerous occasions on a lot of the different shows. The only LSU team that I can remember going back-to-back was baseball, 96, 97. Now, before you say Pat Henry and Dennis Shaver have done it in track and field, men's and women's, I understand that. But it's not put in the same light as the big money sports like football, basketball, baseball. That all being said, look, there's just been some major mistakes made in the portal. You take chances on guys that you feel like are going to come in and fit like a glove, and they just have not hit home runs with their portal. They're hitting into too many double plays. They are not fundamentally sound in a lot of areas. I noticed this last year. We had this discussion. Pull up the tape from last year, folks. Jay Johnson had a lot of pressure. You could feel it, the rear end. You could feel it, the throat. You could feel it everywhere. And if you remember, Wes Johnson was his pitching coach. Wes had gotten a job at Georgia. They were trying to keep it quiet. As soon as that came out, I kiddingly said, remember, Coach Johnson needs some Boudreaux's butt paste. And maybe he got mad at that, but guess what? He needs some more. Because when you're uptight and you are grinding 18, 20 hours a day to try to get this thing right, those guys are feeling the pressure. They're playing under a lot of pressure. And I'm not saying that you can snap a finger and it's just one thing. As you noted, they've been horrible with 2 outs, whether it's offensively or getting people out with 2 outs. They've had a lot of trouble making the right calls out of the bullpen. Haven't had a lot of consistency. And they've just tried about everything. And so that being said, you just got to say it's one of those years. But at this point, I would go in there and say, guys, you know what? We've got nothing to lose. Let's enjoy the back end of the season because, JP, we're looking at unprecedented territory. They're 3-12. They're at Missouri this weekend. They come back to host Auburn, which they should win at least 2, maybe sweep, if you got any kind of chance to turn it around. Then you are having Texas A&M come in. You know who the number 1 team in the country is right now? A&M coming in. You got to play at Bama, and then you wrap up hosting Ole Miss. So even if they win 10 out of the last 15, you're still looking at 13 and 17, and I don't think they're going to win 10 of those 15, JP.
That's correct. I believe the RPI was somewhere in the 50s, Bud, man, and truly there's so many problems, and the Masters was this weekend, Bud, man, and you know golf, there's such a huge mental aspect of that game, and that's why it was so remarkable what Tiger Woods was able to do for such a long run. He was so dominant, but what he was doing on the course is unbelievable. But the focus it takes, and in baseball, in the same light, if you don't believe that you're going to win a ball game, Bud, man, it is very difficult. And LSU does not believe they're going to win many ball games. Now, you look great against McNeese. You 10-run rule him 16-0. You move Jared Jones to the leadoff spot. He belts a few home runs. You think, oh, great, here we go. That's the spark we need. LSU is getting some offense going. Then you go to Tennessee, and you just cannot score. Luke Holman has done a fantastic job for LSU, a true ace. 5 1/3 no-hit Tennessee. LSU could not support him, end up losing that game 3-1. I mean, you're not going to beat a lot of teams only scoring one run, especially in the SEC, especially against a team like Tennessee. Holding a team in Tennessee to 3 runs, that is a game you absolutely feel you should have a shot to win. But truly, once Holman came out the game, you felt, hell, here we go.
There you go. Now, look, it's not easy to make a decision on when you keep a guy in and when you take a guy out. There's been a lot of criticism for Nate Yeske, the pitching coach. Yep. There was a lot of criticism for Wes Johnson at this point. You know, it takes a while to get on the same page. And we keep waiting for that a while to get here, and they're just not getting any better. Case in point, I'm thinking, man, I don't know if I would have taken Luke Holman out the way he's pitching.
Right.
But you bring in Griffin Herron, who's been fantastic.
The best ERA on the team.
First pitch,
yep.
He gives up a two-run single, and all of a sudden, as you alluded to, they should have been up 3 or 4 to nothing. And so they're not doing a good job of plating runs. They're not doing a good job of much. Not blocking balls, not framing pitches. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I know people hate to hear the negativity, but it is a tough game. You mentioned the mental cycle. You also threw in the golf analogy. Tiger Woods just broke the record, 24th consecutive cut made at the Masters. That guy's not 100%. Right. He's 48 years old, and he grinded it through. And so, you know, he took the phones away a couple of weeks ago, and they won a game or so. But it just looks to be a mess. But I will say this. I would go in and let everybody get in the room. Not that I've ever won a championship, and you either, even though we've coached with the little kids through our lives. But at this point, I think they need to get in the room and just everybody get it off their chest. What made you so mad? What has you PO'd? What do you think you can do better? Jay Johnson doing everything in his power, but I'm watching the dugout. It's like a funeral home. You got to have fun, folks. You're only in college one time. LSU probably isn't going to succeed to the level you expected this year. But let's see if they can change the attitude, because all that uptight pressure, you can cut the pressure with a knife. Once again, there could be a possibility where they don't make the SEC tournament or make the NCAA tournament, and then you'd have to go in the portal. We've had a lot of talk about, do you need more Louisiana blood in there? Louisiana high school baseball is good. But look, Jay Johnson works as hard as anybody. He brought Arizona to Omaha twice. So don't give up on the coach. But right now, if you're looking to eat Omaha steaks, go ahead and find the 800 number so you can order.
LSU, as we tape here on April the 16th, will play UNO this evening. Blake Dean, 9th year as a head coach at UNO, will visit the box where he used to play college ball. LSU looking to get off this snide after getting swept, and they have to travel to Missouri. Head coach at Missouri is former Southern coach Carrick Jackson. It's going to be a good series. I mean, look, Missouri's not going to lay down. They understand the defending champs are hitting a tough spot. They're not going to give them many games. This is going to be a grind. LSU's going to have to go out and win some ball games.
7-4-2, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The first games Friday nights on the SEC network. The other 2 games are on the SEC Plus network, and so you can get that on your phone or stream or your tablet, however you have it hooked up. But the one other thing that I want to kind of tie in here, JP, before we go to the next break, you know, we all know that this community loves to live vicariously through their sports teams.
Absolutely.
The Jag fans love their Jag football, basketball, baseball, the whole 9 yards. By the way, they had a good weekend this weekend in baseball. But you spend a lot of your disposable income on going to football games, basketball games, baseball games, season tickets, tailgating, booze, babysitting, and you want to get enjoyment.
Right.
That's the one thing I'm getting from a lot of people. And I'm going to give you a little truth serum on this Tuesday, the day after Uncle Sam. Did you pay Uncle Sam, or did you have to put the extension in? I paid Uncle Sam. $3, I think.
Yeah, I paid
whatever.
I had to pay that money.
Yeah. But lo and behold, you don't want, on the weekend especially, to watch something that gives you the screaming red ass.
Right.
I hate to say it so plainly, but it's frustrating to watch the same things. And so you got a combination of losing, not entertaining,
Right.
and then giving you a bad mood. Listen, you ladies out there, I've talked to a lot of wives and women before. Don't let the old man treat you bad just because your Tigers lost. So you guys take a chill pill. Not going to happen with baseball. Probably not going to happen with softball. They reverted back and lost 2 or 3 at Tiger Park. Probably should have won at least 2 or 3. Gymnastics goes in Fort Worth on Thursday night. They're in a group with 4. If they're in the top 2, they'll be in the Final 4. And that might be the next team that you have at LSU to bring home a natty. But it's not been exciting. It's not been a lot of fun. And when we talk football, still a lot of questions on work in progress. So, what was it, a month or 2 ago? We said 2, 2, and 2.
Yep.
Baseball was 2. Softball was 2. Gymnastics was 2. You only got 1 left at 2. And the others are heading in the wrong direction.
Yep.
So hang in there, Tiger fans. It'll get better.
Yep, softball now sitting at 10-8 in the SEC after they dropped their second series in a row. First to Florida, then drop one to Auburn. Auburn's first series win of the season in the SEC, but there's still time to turn it back, go around, get the ship corrected, moving towards the postseason. We'll take a quick break. We'll talk some LSU football. The spring game was April 13th. This past Saturday, we have some highlights. We also have some player interviews, and you'll hear from the head coach. You don't want to miss it. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
If you're ready for a do-it-all vehicle with smooth handling and smart interior styling, look no further than the new 2024 Honda CR-V. Once again named a Car and Driver's 10 Best Trucks and SUV list. Come save on your new CR-V right now at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda.
Got spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
With a variety of sizes and a consistently high level of quality throughout the lineup, Mazda's been named the best SUV brand by U.S. News & World Report. We invite you to experience the Mazda difference at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline, a member of the Team Automotive Group.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. We're wearing the sunglasses because baseball got swept at Tennessee this past weekend, but it's time to talk some LSU football. Spring game was the 13th this past Saturday. Ended in a tie, 34-34. It was a controlled scrimmage. Did get to see new quarterback Garrett Nussmeier go 7 for 7. Looked pretty sharp, but man, it all started in the trenches. LSU's, the strength of their team is supposed to be the offensive line this year. Defensive line was a little bit ahead the offensive line, I thought, to start, especially when quarterback one, Garrett Nussmeier, came out of the game, but did get to see some plays. Great to see some football back in action at Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, once again, I pulled my sunglasses down a little bit because I don't know if we're going to wear them for the football season or not. Look, LSU football, here's the kind of talk we have around town. It's year 3.
Yep.
So what do you expect? Well, you know how we are, folks. You get 10-10, you expect 10. And we know that they've got 2 monster non-conference games in the first month at Vegas to play USC and then hosting UCLA. A tough 8-game home schedule, including hosting Ole Miss after an open date, hosting Alabama after an open date, and hosting Oklahoma in the final game of the season. And I want all of you to realize that this is a work in progress. Generally on these scrimmages, JP, through the years, 100, 120 plays, 68 plays.
Yep.
They did not have an injury all through the spring. They didn't have a lot of contact each. So I'm going to throw it out there to you folks. One of the big questions that you've got to assess is, number one, is that defense going to be a little bit better? I thought it might be appreciably better, but after seeing the spring game, there's a lot of work. But can you get the physicality on defense that you have on offense? Offense is going to be fine. You got to give Sloan and those guys calling plays a little bit of room to grow, and the same thing with Nussmeier. I'm with you. If Nuss gets hurt, LSU's in trouble because they don't have great backups right now. Even though Swan's got experience, he had a bad day. And so a punter, who's going to punt the football? You know how many yards they gave up in punt return last year? -1. They only had 2 punts returned last year for a -1 yards. Peyton Tide, come on, man.
Yeah.
You gotta flip the switch. This is your time to punt. And so there are a lot of questions. And, of course, as we know with our buddy Mike Scarborough, he's wearing around a T-shirt for the last 2 weeks. Where's the beef? With the Wendy's logo on it, because you need D tackles. And with this portal opening up, they need to go get them 2 or 3 D tackles.
Well, Harold Perkins Jr. is a player that LSU absolutely needs to perform this upcoming season. He's going to be all over the field, but he's mainly going to be at will linebacker, right in the middle where he was last year. But Blake Baker has a great track record of getting the most out of linebackers, especially in Baton Rouge. We're from him and Kyron Lacey, the 5th-year senior wide receiver. Here is Harold Perkins Jr. and Kyron Lacey right here on Tigers Roar.
Your coaches have said we need to find a spot for Harold, start him somewhere, and get him good at that spot. How's that coming so far this spring?
It's coming along good. I'm really liking the road they got me doing, a lot of stuff, and I'm excited about it.
How would you describe that role and where you're at right now?
More in the box, playing well, being around everything, right in the midst of it.
And what are the keys there to being a playmaker and not getting caught up in blocks and so forth?
Just trusting what you see, trusting your eyes, and just being a football player, not really thinking too much. I feel like that's something I'm really good at, not really thinking too much, just going out there and playing.
How's the transition been going with Blake Baker as your defensive coordinator?
I love the transition. I feel like Coach Baker knows how to relate to his players. His scheme fits the defense, and I'm just excited to see where we're going to go.
As you become more of a veteran on this team, what has your message been to the younger players coming in, kind of getting them ready for fall season?
Just coming in, just working, keeping our head down and work. Don't listen to no outside sources and people outside, because we the only ones in here every day putting in the work. We the only ones know what's going on for us, so we just got to keep working.
Back to Coach Baker, what has been the biggest adjustment for you guys?
I feel like we have a lot of humor now. You know what I'm saying? Everything not too serious. I feel like last year we was a lot serious on defense. This year I won't say we relaxed, but we joke around a lot more, but we also get that work in too.
I was looking at your stats the other day from your first year to the second year, and they weren't really that different. Seems like you still made a lot of plays. How would you evaluate your first year and your second year and how they went?
I just feel like my first year, I wouldn't say I wasn't on the radar for myself. I just feel like everybody didn't really know about me. So oh my bad. So I feel like once you know about somebody, it's gonna be even harder for that person to make plays because you ain't just out there and nobody know who you is. Of course, people know who I am, so just gotta find the right tools and stuff like that just to keep going.
I guess you've already been asked about Blake Baker a little bit, but he's been able to bring out the most in linebackers here in the past. And what's it like to be coached by him, and what is he bringing to the team this year?
I love being coached by Coach Baker. Like I said, he's not like, he got a humor. Everything not serious, but when it's time to get that work in, it's time to get that work in. And like, he real like precise. You know, he want things to go a certain way. And if we're not doing it right, he'll go out there, he'll show us how to do it. Instead of us just walking through it, he'll get out there and show us himself. Y'all be seeing he got the cleats on and stuff. So.
What about team goals, and what does this team want to accomplish this year? Your third year here.
As a whole team, or just defensive wise?
As a whole team first. Yeah.
Whole team, I believe everybody goal here is a national championship. That's one. And also graduating champions.
And defensively, how motivated are you guys to bounce back collectively?
I feel like collectively as a defense, we all motivated. I'm saying we got a lot of new faces around here, and everybody is like, we not like taking that in a bad way. Like we what's the word? We're buying into it. So I think that's a good thing when you got all your players buying into it. Tell you what you got going on, you got something going.
Kyron, can you just talk about the chemistry you have with Garrett Nussmeier right now and just kind of how things have been working out this spring?
It goes way back to when I first got here. He's been ready. He's ready to take this next step. We come in every day looking to do something better every single day. It'll be little things like maybe just watching film, like stuff like that, just to get on the same page.
And then Coach Kelly said on Saturday you're kind of stepping in these shoes that Malik and Brian left behind. How are you and Chris Hilton kind of fitting into that the gap of QB or wide receiver 1 and 2?
Seeing those guys come to practice every single day, it was a blessing because it really opened my eyes because those guys are like my brothers. So like everything they're doing, I was in the backfield, like just watching everything they do, like on and off of the field. So it's gonna be a big task to take over, but I'm ready for it.
And then I guess just like, what do you bring to this offense, or what do you feel like is your biggest asset to this team?
I feel like I'm a big team leader. I want everybody else around me to be great. So if I push everyone around me, I feel like this team could go far.
There's been a lot of talk about this offensive identity, especially after leaving Jaden and Malik and Brian all leaving. At this point in spring, what do you think this identity of the offense is?
We're still trying to find our identity. We come in every day looking to get better at something. Like if it's just red zone, we're looking to top the last time we did red zone. So we're still trying to find our identity. Those younger guys coming up every single day, they're getting better every single day. I got to give my shout out to Sheldon Sampson. He comes in every day. He's been doing the little things right because last year maybe he wasn't doing the little things right, but now I feel like he's taking that next step and doing the little things right so he can be great.
How do you feel as far as now all eyes are kind of be on you? Is it a pressure and a burden you're looking forward to taking on?
It's not really pressure because the eyes is on LSU football, so it wouldn't necessarily be just on me because we have a lot of guys on that offensive unit and defensive unit, so we come in every day to get better. So.
How would you describe how last year went for you in terms of how you started and how you finished personally?
Just having to lock in more, like in meetings. Like I had a couple drop balls. Everybody knows that, but it's like, how are you going to bounce back from that? You can't just sit down and be like, feel sorry for yourself, should I say. So you just got to come in every day and work hard. So.
Can you remember a low point specifically where you said, I got to dig deep?
I would say like, after week 4, I felt myself like going down. So Malik, all those guys, they started bringing me up, telling me what I need to do on and off of the field. So I just trusted those guys, trusted everything they was doing, and got me here.
Watching you in the spring, it looks like you're in the best shape you've ever been in. You're most confident. Is that how you would describe how you're playing right now?
Most definitely. I feel confident more than ever. Like I just feel ready to compete.
What can be accomplished in this spring game this weekend?
We're just going to do the little things. Nothing too major. Keep it simple. Try to get some of those young guys some looks to see.
And you talked about your chemistry with Garrett, but how is he throwing the ball? Looks like when we're out there, he's really zipping it in. And
yeah, he's zipping it. Anywhere you need it, he's going to put it there. So I tell him, just throw it anywhere. I'm going to go get it. It doesn't matter. So it goes for all of the guys, too, like CJ, Zay. Just throw it anywhere. We're going to go get it. We're going to try our best to go get it. So when the ball is in the air, that's the only thing we worry about is the ball.
I guess what's the message been throughout the spring, like kind of just keeping your guys' head straightforward?
Just staying consistent every single day. Everybody has to stay consistent. Everybody has to bring each other up. We can't have no off days. Everybody has to come in every single day ready to compete, ready to get better.
And how would you describe the two new receivers that came in out of the transfer portal?
CJ and Zay, those guys are going to be perfect. Zay, he can stretch the field. He can get those zones, those smoke, all of those things. CJ, he's a deep threat. They're still adjusting. CJ's still adjusting, but I promise he's going to be straight.
That was Harold Perkins Jr., the junior linebacker, and Kyron Lacey, the fifth-year senior wide receiver for LSU, looking to do big things this upcoming season. But, man, I thought Kyron Lacey had a chance to, opt into the pro draft this season, but chose to come back to LSU. Good for the Tigers to provide a lot of leadership in that room.
He's the number one wide receiver going in. Look, Nuss is going to make some mistakes. He's also going to hook up on a bunch of deep balls. You did see some busted coverage in the spring game. You'll hear Coach Kelly address that. Harold Perkins, yes, they've got him inside, but they're going to move him around. And I feel like it's a little early to try and project what LSU is going to do record-wise or whatever, but the offense is not going to be as explosive as last year's team, but really good. How quickly can Blake Baker and that defense get up to snuff? I think they still are a year away. A lot of freshmen that are coming in that could be a part of it, but got to get some D tackles, got to get some corners, and once again, got to make more defenses plays with takeaways, whether it be INTs or fumble recoveries. And look, this Peyton Todd with this punting, it would not shock me to see Badger Hargett, one of the walk-ons in the battle, or somebody else. Big thing about that, JP, generally LSU, their punter holds, so a battle there. So it's really a work in progress right now, as evidenced by only 68 plays in this spring game. But you'll see a lot more activity come the night of September 1 in Vegas.
Another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back. We'll see some highlights from the spring game this past Saturday. We'll also hear from head coach Brian Kelly. You're watching Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
If you're looking for the perfect companion for family fun and adventure, or wanting to find adventure beyond the ordinary, experience all that the Toyota Tundra has to offer. Save on your new Tundra right now at Team Toyota, I-12 and O'Neill.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Certainly appreciate you tuning in. If you missed any of this episode, go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the Tigers Roars are archived right there for your viewing pleasure. While you're at the page, click the like, subscribe, and notification button. If you would, we certainly appreciate it. Talking LSU football, spring game was this past Saturday, April 13th. You have some highlights. We'll ask AT, who's doing a great job for us, to go ahead and roll those. We'll continue the conversation. Did get to see a controlled scrimmage, Bud, man, but Nussmeier did look pretty good. Goes 7 for 7, throws 2 touchdowns. Led his team to score all 3 touchdown drives. So he looks sharp, but outside of that, the quarterback play needs to develop here moving forward.
All right, a little dump off to Aaron Anderson to start it off. Here is Josh Williams making a good cut. Once again, Josh gets the most out of his talent. He's going to start. Caleb Jackson backing him up. Obviously, this first drive, you're getting ready to see a busted coverage here in a little bit. And that's one of the things they've got clean up. LSU is loaded at wide receivers. And here you go, Xavier Thomas right here, number 11. Once again, no problems with anybody guarding him with that first touchdown. Silly, a little nonsense afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't think Kelly's going to let that happen again as you see this celebration in the end zone.
The duck, go. Of course, the cornerback got toasted, but he thought he was in cover 2. He's supposed to be in cover 3. You'll hear that from Coach Brian Kelly just in a little bit. But blown coverage is unacceptable, but this is the time to work out those type of things.
Of course, the college kids are doing what the pros do on celebrations. I don't think you can get away with that, though, in a game.
Yeah.
Here we go back to the highlights, JP, and once
this is
again.
another replay, yep.
What's that?
This is another replay. Nussmeier moving towards the line.
Replay, yeah. Xavier Thomas comes over from Mississippi State, probably going to be your punt returner.
You don't hit the kicker in a spring game. Unbelievable, Bud, man.
It is early on, exactly. Brian Kelly will echo that sentiment.
So 7-0 right here. Here's the backup quarterback. Defense jumps off a little bit, but the defensive line I thought really played well when the backup quarterbacks got in.
Yeah, the 2 D lines certainly had their way with the 2 offensive line, and that's one of the things that you're always are going to try to develop depth on that O line. Ricky Collins and A.J. Swan. Here's Peyton Todd, and to say the least, he was not very impressive.
There will most likely be a punter battle, of course. Peyton Todd's a big body, so you want to have him maybe make a tackle on a punt if he's the last case of defense. But another good throw right here, leading to a big game for the offense. LSU, like you said, not lacking in talent on the outside.
That's C.J. Daniels, number 4, the guy coming over from Liberty.
But outside of Nussmeier, Collins, Swan, and Hurley, all around 50% completion. I thought they were affected a little bit by that defensive line.
Yeah. And here we go, a little bit of a dump off, and that is KP, Kamorian Pimpton. You're going to love this guy if he stays healthy. Big number 88, third tight end.
Yeah, LSU's going to have to work into the tight ends more this season, get that running game going. The play action is where the big explosive play is going to come down the field for LSU, but got to set up that run game with that strong offensive line.
Sage Ryan, Major Burns, 2 of the guys, people wanting to know if they can make more plays and have some more takeaways on defense this year.
Yeah, Coach Brian Kelly did say they're going to address D-tackle in the portal, but a lot of questions also around that secondary. But, man, a lot of freshmen had to play last year. You lose Zy Alexander, the guy from transfer out of Southeastern. He's going to work back from an injury. There was question for Coach Brian Kelly. Would he kind of be, gifted that starting spot when he came back. But, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody on defense played well enough to be guaranteed a spot when he comes back this season.
Well, some of those guys are going to start, but we'll see. And once again, here's a great pitch and catch as Kai Preon gets the touchdown from that's the 17-year-old Colin Hurley. That was late in the game. Kai Preon probably running, in the third group of wide receivers. LSU, plenty of talent at wide receiver. JP, as we see, I took the glasses off to see the football. I'm hoping that it's a brighter future for LSU football. JP still donning them and says, I don't know who's going to have a better year, whether it be the Saints with Dennis Allen or the Tigers. Have some patience with Garrett Nussmeier. He started one game. If you're going to judge him on Burrow in 18 and Jaden Daniels in 22, not the years that they won the Heisman.
We'll let you guys hear from the head coach. Here is Brian Kelly, his press conference after the spring game this past Saturday, April 13th, answering questions about his offense and a whole lot more. Do apologize to you guys. Did a really bad job passing the microphone to the reporters, so the questions are difficult to hear. But here's head coach Brian Kelly this past Saturday after the LSU spring game on April 13th.
Anything? The spring game hero. Our trainer, Owen Stanley. He told me there were no injuries to report of. Everybody got out of it clean, so that's a good thing. Look, it's like anything else, right? I mean, for me, these are opportunities to flip from 14 preparations and practices to one performance. And I want to see guys how they handle that. There's a big difference between a practice player and a guy that comes out and performs in front of, regardless of how many people. It's Tiger Stadium. There's a history and tradition in the stadium. So when you come in here, I want to see guys that can flip that switch and get into the right zone and can play this game at a high level. That can be focused, that can be in the right emotional zone, that can do all the things necessary to play. We got to quiet these guys down. They don't know there's a thing in here. They're kind of unaware of that. Hey, award winner, could you help us out there, Brandon? I know you guys have got trophies all over the place, but you can help us a little bit. Mr. Trophy guy, he doesn't do anything anymore. Won a couple of trophies. These guys are. So, honestly, for me, it's just about, I want to see guys handle this as I'm locked in, I'm focused, I'm treating this like, a real game opportunity. And I think some guys did that. I thought Harold Perkins did a really nice job working in the box and, seeing counter. And so, we were purposeful in running the ball at him and making him defend and get over the top of the veer block of the tackle and then getting the back out and forcing him to tackle that. So, that was really good to see. Kyron Lacey has had a great spring. Let's see him in a game-like situation continue to do that. I thought that was clear. And then the other thing that we highlighted is a running game and how important that is with our offensive line to exert our will. And I thought I saw that. So the tenets that we talked about relative to leading up to this game, I saw a lot of them. Now, you also saw the things that we have to get better at. Certainly, we can't let the ball over our head. We had some coverage mistakes. Those can't continue to happen, certainly. Certainly, we got to continue to evaluate and recruit at the defensive tackle position. That's a must. I like what our edges are doing. We're getting good pressure from the edge, but, we've got to be really stout inside. So, those are a couple of the observations that I think were what we talked about as a group in the sessions that we had that I saw today. So with that, go at it.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about a couple of guys, just trying to
pick it up for the audition, I guess, quote unquote. Just what did you make of somebody like Kylan Jackson, second year, looked like he made some plays out there, and then Gabe Relaford, one of your new guys, defensive lineman for freshmen. Just what did you make of their two performances?
Yeah, so it's all like we got to look at, Gabe was going up against a freshman, right? And he's a freshman. I get that, but now we're going to have to take Gabe, and we're going to have to get Gabe some reps against, Will Campbell. We're going to have to get him up against Emory, because he's earned that now. That we've got to be able to see what he looks like against those guys. What I liked about Caleb was patience today. He was a lot more patient on his running fits. He was a lot more north and south. He had been a guy that had a tendency to bounce out and bleed out to the sideline instead of just hitting the thing north and south. And that was really encouraging with his physicality and speed. If he hits these things north and south, as you saw in the goal line piece of our scrimmage, he can crease a defense.
Sorry, I meant to say Kylan Jackson.
Well, Caleb did a great job, and you might have said Kylan, but I thought Kylan did a nice job in coverage. But again, his skill set is such that he's going to do a really good job on the tight ends, and we expect him to do that. I think what we need to see is his run fits, and we'll have to watch the film to see that.
Middle coach, I saw you grab Nuss early and talk to him a little bit. What did you think of his day and how he settled in?
I thought it was good. I thought there was a run read where he tried to, spit the ball out early with Major Burns. Major kind of plays with him a little bit on the line of scrimmage off, playing a little of cat and mouse. And, I told him, listen, if he's on the line of scrimmage, he can't get into his B-gap fit. Just hand the ball off. He can't get there. And proximity sometimes forces him to do some things that he shouldn't do. So other than that, I thought he did a really nice job. The throw as he stepped up in the pocket was, quintessential in terms of what he's able to do. He keeps his eyes down the field. That's a huge thing, right? As he steps up in the pocket, he sees, an open receiver down the field. I thought he was clean today. I thought he was efficient. I thought he did the things that we expected him to do.
Wilson, like you said, those on those long plays that there was, busting in the secondary. Where did the breakdowns occur? What are the things that we need to address?
Well, one of them was cover two, and we're in cover three and we're playing cover two. I mean, so the corner's rolled up. He's supposed to be a deep defender. I mean, you can't have those kind of mistakes. They're unacceptable, and that's going to cost you a chance to be on the field. So that's one thing. And then we just got flat out outrun for the football. We were in a coverage that we're supposed to be over the top. We just got flat out beat in those situations. So sometimes you just got to take a hard look at, who do we have, and what kind of situations do we put them in against, an elite receiver. And we weren't game playing against our defense today, right? So, if we got in that kind of situation, we may have to game plan and help out a corner in that situation. We didn't do that today.
Coach, obviously you talked about AJ, you talked about Ricky. What did you see from maybe a coachability standpoint within the day, just getting them out there connecting like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the defensive line had the upper hand on our offensive line. Those guys didn't get very comfortable in the pocket. Clearly, I don't know what the numbers were, but it didn't appear to me standing back there they were very efficient. But a lot of that was they didn't have a lot of time to get their feet set either as I was standing back there. And again, I could be wrong when I watched the film, but I think Ricky was 50%, and AJ was just a little bit better than 50%. So we got some work to do there. I thought the ball came out really well with Colin. Looked clean, looked efficient there. And Garrett was what, 7 of 7. So we got some work to do there.
Ed, Coach, how much better do you think you'll be defensively, or is it just too early to have any idea?
I know the basic tenets of defense relative to the believability, the energy, the want-to, all those things are going to be there, which are important to as a foundation. They'll be there. Then we got to execute, and so we need to get some help at the defensive tackle position, which we will. We're addressing it, and we got to, obviously figure out, what our corner situation is going to be. I think we answer those two. I think this defense will be a solid defense, but we've got to answer those two questions moving forward.
Coach, with Colin Jackson, you mentioned last year as a freshman, there were just still a lot of things that he was learning. How have you seen him develop this spring and this offseason to, the big plays he made today?
Yeah, he's a young player, and I think you guys know me by now that young players have to do things off the field, in the classroom. They have to be on time. They've got to do all the right things before we give them a bigger role on the field. He's working towards all that stuff. He's a good kid, and we like him. But, all of those things have to come together if we're going to give him a bigger piece of the pie. And he's working on it. He's getting better. He's making progress. But, there's still room for growth there.
Coach, I know the corners and defensive tackles may not have played as well as wanted, but have you seen the coaching kind of make an impact already with both Davis and Corey Raven there?
Oh, absolutely. And look, the long approach to this is, just look at who's on campus, who we're recruiting. And I feel, look, we got to win right away. And I get that. And we're going to put together a defense that puts us in a position to win the SEC. But if you want to look at this from a longer view, I've had a lot of players in front of me over the past 3 months since we've hired those two that I hadn't seen in a couple of years. So that's a really good thing because we're gonna get the guys that we need at those positions, and Bo and Corey are making an impact there.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly, his comments after the spring game. You heard him open up by saying the MVP was the trainer. No major injuries to report, so that's a great thing for LSU here moving forward.
Yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the weather out there. Of course, once again, baseball tonight, UNO, and obviously at Missouri 7-4-2, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Softball trying to get back and win a series. And, of course, gymnastics. Once again, the next time we come to you, Tigers Roar, LSU, I'm going to predict either 1 or 2. Oklahoma knows how to land. Oklahoma knows how to get the high scores, but you'd love to see Jeff Clark and the Lady Tigers bring one home.
LSU in Vegas, September 1 to take on USC to open up the 2024 campaign. Year 3 for Coach Brian Kelly. Huge expectations for the Tigers here in the SEC West. But, of course, taking on some new blood in the SEC, so it's going to be a gauntlet. Certainly appreciate you tuning into this episode of Tigers Roar. If you missed anything, go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. We have a whole lot more there for your viewing pleasure. So while you're at the page, click the like, the notification, and the subscribe button. We certainly appreciate it. For the Bud Man, for Monty, and for AT, you've been watching Tigers Roar.